It seems like everywhere you look on social media today, if you're a filmmaker, you see someone using a gimbal and a Sony FX3. Do you really need a gimbal though? Do you need one in your kit to make good footage? The answer to that question is a resounding no, you don't. But then, so why did I choose to upgrade to the DJI RS4 Pro? And why does it seem like everyone else has a gimbal in their kit? Creating for me has always been deeply personal. My favorite part about doing this whole thing that we do, photo and video, is taking a camera, me, myself, and just creating out of essentially nothing. And the sweet spot for me in gear is gear that gets out of the way, that doesn't complicate this. And the RS4 Pro does this. It allows me to put it down, use it as a static tripod to get that kind of shot, to then pick it up and run after the dogs, to get these cool kind of tracking shots with it. And it ups the quality of the footage that I can get with it without being cumbersome, without complicating things, without getting in the way. My wife is washing what either looks like kiwis or potatoes. I'm not sure which one it is. I've been known to get this wrong. But there, even there, you can see that I did a little tilt down shot. Here's a top down of Comet. And the variety of creativity, the variety of shots that you can get with this after throwing it on the gimbal, balancing it, calibrating, makes it so useful in a solo creator setting. The RS4 Pro can hold a maximum payload capacity of 10 pounds. My Canon R6 Mark II plus an adapted EF 24-70 2.8 lens version 2 plus cage is probably pushing around 4 pounds. And so there's a lot of headroom for me using the RS4 Pro. Maybe I decide to be ridiculous in the future and use a C70 or a C80, God forbid a C400 or an FX6 to do something like this. If I wanted to, the capability is there, and having a piece of gear that can grow with me as I grow in my creativity is invaluable. There is one caveat though here, and that is the cost. At almost $1,000 for the non-combo version, this becomes a bit superfluous to use simply for your own personal content creation. And most of us can't justify that. And that brings us to what I think is the bread and butter use case for the RS4 Pro, and that is event coverage. A gimbal and events go together like peanut butter and jelly. It's just the default setup that you typically see for a filmmaker, for a content creator who's covering an event. And the reason for this is because it provides footage that has a very commercial feel to it. The movements that you can get are complex axis movements where you can have essentially movement in multiple directions, and that creates this look of higher quality. People associate that with higher quality. This creates a great foundation for your edit later on. You can go in and get some atmosphere shots, get some establishing shots. But the real reason here for the RS4 Pro is dedicated vertical content. As a content creator, this is incredibly important. You can see me here, this clip is sped up, but the total time for this clip is no more than 2 minutes. 2 minutes, I've converted to vertical and I've rebalanced the gimbal. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that the RS4 Pro is made of carbon fiber, making it lighter and just a quality of life feature that helps event shooters get through the day a little bit easier with a little less soreness. We spend all this time talking about gear, gimbals, cameras, things like that in order to make our footage and our end product look better for us, for our clients that we are delivering it to. But what about their experience? As a photographer, I have been using Pic Time for years. Recently, I partnered up with them because they've added video support. I've always wanted to be able to include video clips into the galleries that I'm delivering to my clients, because the galleries that they provide are so aesthetic and so pleasing and professional. So for those of you who are content creators, you can click my referral link down in the description. It'll get you a free 1 month. And you can try out Pic Time and hopefully you like it just the same as I do. I've been using them for years now on my own before they reached out. Anyways, let's go ahead and get back to talking about the RS4 Pro. Recently, I took my Canon R6 Mark II and the DJI RS4 Pro on a shoot. This is a documentary style shoot where this individual started up a run club, and this run club came out of a rather tumultuous time. And I don't want to spoil the story too much, but these types of settings, creating films for businesses, for nonprofits, creating brand films, brand story films, and in this case, a docu-style brand film, the RS4 Pro is a tool. Now, it's not something that you're going to use all of the time because maybe the scene does not call for it. Maybe there's no motivation to have buttery smooth footage. But in this case, I knew I was going to be running with people. This is a run club. And just handheld, the footage would have been very shaky to say the least. And I wanted to mitigate that. And so bringing the RS4 Pro proved to be the right move. One thing that I really utilize in the RS4 Pro is using FPV mode. FPV mode feels a lot more like handheld, and you can make it feel like handheld by adding a little bit of camera shake in post. And now you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get this smoothness that takes out a lot of the micro jitters that you would experience in something like this, but then can also get the organics, the organic feel of handheld. And for me, it's a great blend between the two. I think a question a lot of people are going to have is, should I upgrade? If you have an RS3 Pro, I wouldn't recommend it because you still have the auto locks. You do get native vertical shooting, but a lot of the other features are very similar. So if you're needing the vertical shooting and you're a content creator that does that a lot, then it could be useful to you. But outside of the RS3 line, I think that coming from any other gimbal, this is a worthy upgrade. But David, what about the RS4 Mini? The answer I would give to this is the same reason that I chose the RS4 Pro, and that is if you see yourself wanting to use heavier camera bodies. I see myself using C70s, C80s, C400s, FX6s in the future, and I already use them now. So if you either use them now or see yourself using them, get the RS4 Pro. If you don't and plan on just using mirrorless camera bodies, the RS4 Mini can hold a payload of 4.4 pounds, which is going to cover most mirrorless cameras and most mirrorless lenses. Is the gimbal something that you absolutely need? No, it's not, but I do think that it does serve some value in your kit, and I'll be keeping the RS4 Pro not because it's sensational, but simply because it does everything that I need it to. Given the ecosystem that it has, given the accessories that I can purchase, it doesn't seem like it's something that I'm going to need to upgrade in a year. And as a business owner, as a content creator, buying gear for long-term that will last me 3, 5, 7 years is, I mean, that's fantastic. And this feels like a good purchase in that realm. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. My name is David J. Orozco, and I hope that this information helps you to get out and live your own creative life. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.